Yo, welcome to Lowered Morals Podcast. I'm your host, Keith J. Bergeron. With me today, my tattoo artist, Corey Barrett. We're actually in his shop, Good Ink Tattooing in Waterbury. You've heard me before talk about that as our sponsor. So now we're getting the delight of having Corey Barrett on. Fucking yeah. What's up, Corey?
Just like that, brother. I think we were talking about 2 hours ago, right? And
Yeah.
I was like, yo, meet me at the shop if you want to do that podcast.
I was like, fuck yeah, I do want to do this podcast, especially because you're going to be leaving my ass and I'm going to cry.
No, dude, I'm not gone for long. I'm back and forth, you know?
Yeah, as long as you're back and forth, man, because I don't really want to find a new tattoo artist, to be honest with you.
Are you kidding me, bro? I'll just go to you, wherever the fuck you are. I don't care.
There you go. All right, so once again, this is a podcast where friends, family, and more tell crazy stories from their past involving drugs, alcohol consumption, and distribution, if you want to talk about that. I'm your host, Keith J. Bergeron. I'd first like to remind everybody that this is a pro-marijuana, pro-sobriety, and pro-freedom of speech podcast. We also advocate these policies. Sticks and stones may break our bones, but names will never hurt us.
Fuck no.
Take them out back and shoot them.
They're just words.
I don't want to talk about what that means. One day at a time, which I believe is a good statement that came out of learning, Alcoholics Anonymous and all that bullshit. But that was something that really stuck with me.
Did you go to A?
I went to multiple rehabs, and I went to meetings for 3 months at a time, and then I just want to smoke weed.
Right.
And I would smoke weed and then feel so guilty
Yeah,
because
right.
you're in the program that you relapsed.
That's funny.
And
Yeah,
then
yeah.
I would be like, well, I can't go back to meetings because I'm ashamed of myself.
Sure.
And I don't want to lie. So I guess my only option is to go get fucking Oxycontin and go get really fucking high, right? Everybody, that's how it went for me. I go to rehab, 3 months sober, marijuana, Oxycontin, back out for tour.
Damn, son.
It could be a year, could be 3-year tour, and then I'd go back to rehab, and then I'd do everything rinse, dry, repeat over again.
Dude, you're more hardcore than myself. It's hard to beat.
So yeah. Anyways, we're gonna do things differently today. Normally, I ask my guest to bring 2 stories, and we play 2 lies and a truth, the opposite of 2 truths and a lie. But to be honest with you, I did a podcast this morning, and I'm all out of my shit. So we're just gonna fucking wing it today.
Dude,
we're not gonna play that game.
Stream of consciousness today. I'm
Yeah,
all about
yeah.
it.
So what's up with you, man? What's been going on? You hit me up with what's
Fucking
up.
A million things, man. I just, I'm just. my-
Breathe.
Yeah, right. I got
In and
that.
out. We're just talking, brother.
Man, I just am brimming with joy and positivity and positive mental attitude. I live my life by PMA, and it's a funny thing about that.
Now, what's PMA? Not everybody knows what
I
PMA
just said
means.
positive mental attitude.
Okay, there you go.
So with PMA, I'm 50 years old right now. So I grew up in California, in Concord, California, East Bay, and I was a skater, right? Like first Thrasher magazine, I think I got issue 1 in 8th grade. This fella Joe Waterman sold it to me for 75 cents. He was like the Thrasher dealer, I guess.
And what kind of music were you listening to, though?
Oh, punk rock, 100%.
Yeah.
Dude. I'm Black Flag, all that stuff. So the funny thing about that, in the Bad Brains, right? Bad Brains were promoting PMA. They got that song. We got that PMA. We got that attitude. And man, I listened to that shit, and I just, I was a young skater. I was this little fat kid with bangs and everything, smoking cigarettes, and that shit resonated with me, but not in the way that like it does now, right? Like I wrote it on my skateboard, and I fucking talked about it. Wrote it on my peachy folder and all that shit, and it didn't really mean shit, It's funny, but I always carried PMA with me.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but weren't we all those little fat kids? And we all thought we were fat, and then you look back at the pictures, and you're like, dude, I was skating every fucking day. I was probably the most in shape. Well, for me, anyways.
No kidding. I hear you, brother. Same thing. And that's just it. And funny thing about skating back then, right, compared to now, is like it was fucking criminal. Like the cops would just bust you. And now we have fucking beautiful thing. We got skate parks in like every town, right? So that's awesome.
Yeah,
It's
you
come
can be a pussy and skate now. Back then, you had to be a little hardcore.
all day, but come a long way. So let me check this out, bro. So, Bad Brains, right? HR and Bad Brains was speaking of PMA hardcore, and it's because of a book called Think and Grow Rich. Think and Grow Rich is by Napoleon Hill, and this was written, I believe, in the early 30s.
Mm-hmm.
And the crazy thing about this is that there was, I don't know when AA started, but maybe like AA started, but was one Vermonter, right? And this was like the
Bill.
When was it? Like, do you know the date? Like mid to later 30s. Okay, so check this out.
I honestly, if I would have had to guess, I would have said like late '60s, early
I
'70s.
thought, well, whatever. It's
Who knows?
somebody does.
Yeah, yeah. Come
But-
on, young Jamie.
so-
Oh shit, we don't have young Jamie. What the fuck?
Let me talk about this one before I go off too much.
Yeah,
Before I forget the fuck I'm talking about.
Sorry.
So, the crazy thing about this book, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, is that I would see this book. I got this book a long time ago, and I'm like, Think and Grow Rich. Damn, that sounds like fucking some self-help thing that I already have a business going, and I don't know how to think more to become rich, or I don't know what the fuck that means. But crazy, right? This thing was written in early 30s, I guess, and Napoleon Hill spoke of 12 steps. And the first step of the 12 steps was PMA, positive mental attitude. And HR of Bad Brains is probably like 60s, close to 70 or something now. I don't even know how old he is, but he's a couple generations ahead of me, and he knew that stuff, right? HR Bad Brains, these are like black guys that were jazz musicians, and they turned punk rock in like the late 70s. They were punk rockers. Can you imagine like black punk rockers coming from
The jazz era.
coming
like
from the jazz
not
background,
era, but
right? The background, and then into like the whitest, fucking angriest, like stuff, but not really. Like you say, white, angry, and all that stuff. You look at Henry Rollins, and he's like this guy, like me, like the shaved head and the tattoos. But that motherfucker has been speaking PMA before, like
You saw the comment I made on Facebook, right? On that one picture.
I didn't catch it.
It was like
I
looking a lot like Henry Rollins.
Oh,
there.
sweet! I'll take that as a compliment all day. But
Yeah.
these days with my Facebook posts, it gets a little intense for me, so I have to post and I ghost.
Yeah,
I
I
don't-
get you.
and zero offense to others, I try to respond, but a lot of times then I just I try to get back to everybody, and I probably will eventually. But
It keeps away from all the negativity too.
yeah,
if you
that too. And I
post
feel
and
like
ghost.
I feel like there's a lot of people these days that think I'm not so I'm not all together because of all these ideas that I have. I should say a very small amount of folks think that, but the overwhelming amount of folks like yourself, with transparency and honesty, as we were speaking about earlier, that's real shit, dude. So those folks that think that, as David Goggins said, like, I'm not crazy. I'm just not like you. That made the
Yeah.
most sense. I was listening to that podcast yesterday. I was like, man, I just had to text it to a couple friends because that just resonated so well. But
Well-
that's what's up, dude. With me, I mean that there's a lot more up with me, but that's the
But we all know that the geniuses of genius, when they come out with either something that we could never even imagine and it affects the world in such a way, those people all were probably, judged around their family the same way. And it's just, we're different. We're creative, and you don't understand my creativity, but when it all comes together, you'll see.
for sure.
You know?
I get that. That's my life, 100%. And with my family, and other folks, it's been like being an alcoholic and having that shit as hereditary as they come. Like I think we all have that gene to some degree, but man, it's strong in my family.
Yeah,
and
addiction
I-
is strong in mine as well.
Of course, I think many families. And boy, the thing about when I quit drinking, I just not only friends but particularly family really rejected that. The same way I feel like I'm being rejected by a lot of folks right now because of this trajectory that I'm on of success and positivity. And
They rejected you getting sober from alcohol?
well, yeah, right. It's funny.
It
They,
doesn't make sense to
it
me.
makes zero sense to me too, but I got just a lot of backlash for that. Or I lost friends, of course, but the friends that you lose are the people
Yeah,
that
well, those are the people at the bar that were expecting you to come in and
you don't want to
do
be.
shots with them and party with them.
Of course, you don't want to be with those folks. And I've recently come across this author called Akshay Nanavate, who wrote a book called Fear Vana. And boy, that
Nirvana?
Fear
Nirvana. There we
like Fear and Nirvana.
go. Mm-hmm.
It's a perfect title, really, because the way that he studies, he goes into studies of pain and fear. It's just really matter of fact and really from the most compassionate of places. But I learned of Akshay Nanavate, and I read this book, and it's had a profound impact on my life in so many ways. But then the reason I knew of Akshay Nanavate is because of this podcast called The Drunken Taoist, or Taoist, whatever you would say. And that's hosted by a man named Daniele Bolelli. And I would never have known about this guy, but
Can you say that 5 times fast?
Daniele Bolelli. It comes off. It's
I
so-
like the last name, the Bolelli.
I know it's so brilliant, right? So Daniele Bolelli is he's an Italian fella who he's got this wonderful podcast. But diving deeper into Daniele Bolelli, he's got several books, and he wrote his first book at 22, I believe, and that book was on martial arts and the many different maybe The Way of the Warrior. I'm confused. He's got several books, but diving into all of them wholeheartedly. And I guess the most poignant of books, I can't remember the title of it, but my friend shared it with me the other day. My friend Aaron Gray, and it was about his losing his wife and raising a daughter during this time that he's writing and researching and doing all these books that were translated into Russian and Japanese and such on philosophy and religion and finding your own religion and such, or finding your own God. I'm not sure really. It's heavy stuff for sure. But Daniele Bellelli, and he's also an MMA cage fighter and many different martial arts. But he understands that he just is. His way is so gentle. He's the most positive person that I can imagine on this planet. But I know there's plenty of people that are positive.
It's funny when people think of martial arts, they don't think of it that way, of like centering yourself, and all they think is violence and all that. They have no idea the relationship between that and the natural beauty of the world and peace of mind.
Sure. And they don't call it martial arts for nothing. It's an art, and it's like it's a beautiful art of many facets. And I'm particularly interested in BJJ, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, because I was out. Here's a crazy story. I tattooed my
I was thinking blow job, but okay. That's where my mind goes.
Very pornographic. I got you,
buddy. Just trying to think of the funniest thing.
No, BJJ is like, how could you not think that, right? Like fucking load in your mouth or whatever. But the beautiful thing about Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is that, like, let me back up a little bit. So, about 8 years ago, I tattooed a fellow named Paul Surridge in my shop here. And Paul is like, he's a buddy through and through, right? Like, but I've only hung out with the guy a handful of times. I'm gonna go see you, Paul, really soon, brother. I'll be in Vail in no time. But the thing
me
about
too, Paul, I'm coming to Vail.
You're coming
to see you.
You take a road trip with me, brother? Overland?
Yeah, maybe.
All right, so listen to this.
Bitches. We can get bitches now.
Yeah, maybe. Well, there's a beautiful thing. It's all marijuana out there, right? Colorado is very, it's like OG. So the funny thing.
I'm blessed with finding very good stuff here. Thank you.
My man Paul showed up, though, right before 8 years ago, about the time of legalization, and he showed up with about a QP on him. And he's like, "You want to trade some tattoos for that shit?" And I'm like, "Hell yeah!" So I traded him all the weed and stuff. And then he goes, "Man, if you're ever in Vail, like, look me up." So that was 8 years ago when I was fat and depressed and drunk and all that shit and stoned. And then he goes, so I went in 2018. I went to a trail running camp out there in Grant, Colorado, and I looked him up.
So this running thing is not new to you. It's just you're getting back into it and way more hardcore.
I'll tell you all about that shit. That's a whole other story. But we'll get there. I want to talk about my buddy Paul for a minute.
Okay, my bad.
So Paul told me, if you're ever in Vail, look me up, Like, as other customers might be like, "Hey, you're around, like, I got you." And so I hadn't thought about Paul in a while. I didn't have his number or anything, but I looked up his email address. It was still in my emails. So I shot him an email, and sure enough, he's like, "Yo, come out. He goes, "You like Scarface? I got a Scarface mansion for you to stay in." And he wasn't kidding. It was facing Vail, right? And it was his boy. Was like, I forget dude's name. I'm sorry, dude, because I'm going to see you too. But Paul's like guy who helps him with all the trimming and all his wonderful stuff that he does with medical marijuana out there. His
Paul's
boy.
Bitch.
Yeah, Paul's bitch. Pretty much.
My words.
In the best of ways, because this man's fucking brilliant. Because
I'm sure.
He's a property manager.
I'm such a dick.
I bet Paul would think that's pretty fucking funny.
Okay.
Because he's that dude, right?
It was just like he does his trimming, and I'm like, damn,
all that shit. Yeah,
find somebody to do my trimming.
He's Paul's fucking right hand man, like with all that shit. So this dude was like, he's a property manager, and he had his like fucking the Scarface place, right? He had a little fucking room off to the side where dude was staying, and it was like his bong in there and shit. Like, it was so dope. And so he let me stay there, and Paul's no joke. Like, he was not fucking bullshitting, because he's about truth and transparency, like we were talking about earlier, like real shit.
Yeah, brother.
So I'm gonna go see you soon, Paul, and I'm gonna tap the fuck out of you, whatever you want to do. And I can't smoke weed, but when we roll, and we do some BJJ,
He won't be coughing and hacking up shit
I'm
anymore.
gonna do some edibles though, man, for sure. Because the thing about Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, which I know very little about, actually I do know quite a bit. I shouldn't say that. I do know quite a bit. I just haven't practiced it very much. Only one time with Paul, and when we went there, like, Paul's a black belt, right? So we went to pick his buddy up, and he's like, "Yo, you want to do BJJ?" And I'm like, "I've never done it, but I'll try it. Try something different." That was fun, and so we went to pick up his boy, and we just smoked copious amounts of fucking marijuana with bong hits and his beautiful his bubble hash and all the shit. He grows the most organic, beautiful weed. He grows the Banner, like that's real OG kind of Colorado shit. You can't find it around here so much.
David Banner.
Yeah,
The Hulk.
Bruce Banner.
Oh, Bruce Banner.
Hulk. Yeah.
Who's David Banner? You don't know fucking some name you made up, Keith. Obviously.
Yep.
You retard.
So you're making me lose my thought here. So we went to his studio and we rolled, right, and like I rolled with these girls, I rolled with guys, but before that we smoked all this weed.
Yeah, they're not talking about ecstasy either. He's talking about rolling on a
Rolling,
mat,
right,
jujitsu.
like getting into.
Because I could tell you some stories about rolling with girls.
That's a different kind of rolling, brother. But this kind of rolling is beautiful because
Fuck, I gotta stop interrupting you.
with this with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, which I quickly realized because I have two daughters, 8 and almost 11, and man, my 11-year-old. Funny thing, I got her into BJJ after I was so affected by this trip I was out there. And my man Paul hooked me up with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and I had that one experience, and it's so imprinted on my brain that I need to do it, you know. But more importantly, I wanted my daughter to do it, and I didn't have time before, so I made time for her to do it. And I was going to Julio Fernandez, who's in at Vermont. I'm gonna botch the name, so I'll spare you that. But it's easy to find. He is one of a very small handful of coral belts. A coral belt is, I believe, beyond an eighth degree. Or
But what town is he in? Because I mean, there's one downtown Burlington.
Right, he's in Williston. I'm sorry, it's
Williston,
called
okay.
Vermont. Okay, it's let me think.
Vermont Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Yep, that's it.
Yep.
And
Bing, bing,
pretty
winner.
simple.
Yeah.
So Julio is also known as Foca, and Foca is a gift to this area because this man is one of a handful of people, like I said, is a coral belt. And he joked one time. I said, "Well, what's the next degree?" Because you'd have to be dead. But the cool thing about Foca is he's such a joker. Like he's just such a playful man. He's such a beautiful human, and that's gonna be my guy. Like I'm gonna go see Paul. I'm gonna roll with him, but I need to train under Foca for sure. And I was feeling really. I was in my shop sleeping here the other night because of some like shit. Just shit going on in my life, right? And so
It's a beautiful shop too.
Thank you, man. I had a beautiful. I was sleeping next to my. Don't take that the wrong way. Sleeping on the floor. I had a rad mattress with my dog sleeping next to me. Couldn't beat it.
Yeah,
But,
Ripple's cool as fuck.
My dog, yeah, Ripple. This is her. I'll show you her in a minute too. So with
On your hand and in real life.
right, man, and she's in my heart all the time. She's the one that taught me to love so much. But with Julio, I just randomly thought when I was in the shop how much I needed to do BJJ, and now I have the time to do it. And
Yeah, there you go, buddy.
thank you. Yeah, I realized
It's
that.
a big difference.
No doubt, bro. I got you.
Just eat that, Mike.
So I looked up his phone number and I texted him at
That
like
sounds
I don't know what
good.
time, like 10:30 or something. It was late, you know, and this fella's in his 60s and or maybe 70. I don't even know how old
He's
he
like,
is.
somebody better be dead.
This guy looks like he's freaking 40, right? He could just, and he's such a deadly weapon.
He's
but
70 and he looks like he's 40.
of course, and he's a man of such peace, but his body is a deadly weapon. Of course, that's BJJ. And I always say the only defense against Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is if you have those skills as well, I would imagine. But I want to obtain those skills. I want to obtain them through this man because he's a beautiful human. And so he listened to my ranting when I was in the shop the other night. I was texting you, thank you, Julio, for being such a kind man to listen to my nonsense at that time of the evening. And I know you had to get up early for your lessons the next day, so I appreciate that more than anything, my friend. And I will be seeing you soon. God bless. And so Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is, he was able to instruct my daughter Ren, and right before COVID, she was signed up to do a competition there, and then that didn't happen, you know. So we spent the year, and she couldn't roll or do any of that stuff. And now I can't wait to I haven't seen her in a few days, but when I see her, I'm gonna surprise her with telling her we're gonna go see Julio. We're gonna see my man Paul. We're gonna get rolling again, and she's gonna get to use that badass blue gi I bought her for Christmas that year, and I get to get one myself now. I'm gonna probably get a black one or a blue one, or maybe white, whatever. Maybe I should go white because I'm a beginner. You know, I feel like when I was in the Marines, you had to
Earn that
well,
darker.
yeah, in the Marine Corps, right?
I think you should be pink then, right? When
Maybe.
you come in?
Maybe
Or is that sexist of me to say?
it could be, but I was gonna say the thing about the Marine Corps is that when you go, you know how you see like the tucked up in the boots, right? That's
Yeah.
called blousing. And when you're a new recruit, you're unbloused, so your trousers are or your pants would be like this, like loose around your boots, you know.
Hmm.
And it's a little bit like humiliating, and you got this baggy sweatshirt on and stuff, and your hat is pulled down over your head in an awkward way. But as you progress through the phases of boot camp, first, second, and third phase, by second phase you're really starting to get tuned in, and by third phase you're just a freaking machine. And the beautiful thing about the Marine Corps is that you don't have to ever think about anything really. You just go, you know, you're living it, and it's amazing because it just takes all that shit out of the equation. You don't have to worry about when you're gonna eat, what you gotta wear, your haircut. Everything's the same, you know, and that's there's beauty to that for sure. As
I
much
don't
as
see you doing that though.
as much as an individual that I am, and I'm so all into it, man. It all has its place. So, man, the Marines were. I miss it so much sometimes, you know.
I
But
would have never guessed
what
you
I miss,
saying that.
what I miss about it is the brotherhood, right? Because I went in 1989, and back then, man, like, you know, you knew somebody had your back, 100%, right? But I feel like in this political climate right now, and after what we saw, you know, last January, um,
Yeah.
that you're that same brother that's in the Marine Corps or whatever service or any branch of service might want to kill you because of your political ideology, and that's a sad, sad fucking fact right now, brother.
It's crazy how far we've separated since basically the internet was so readily available in every community, no matter what class you were in, that it seems like us as people together to be able to leave out our beliefs in like whatever political beliefs that we have and just enjoy each other's company. And now it seems to be like we were like this, and it's just we're going further and further away from each other. We can't sit at the same tables. Like it's getting ridiculous that the far right and the far left
Sure,
can't
everybody.
get their shit going. I mean, I don't vote. I don't like. I just don't believe in it. I think everybody in that whole thing is
Fair
kind
enough.
of corrupt,
Of
and
course, fair
and that
enough.
my vote would be just as much of a joke as doing it as if I don't do it.
Fair enough, man. For sure, I believe that.
I don't know if you feel the same way about like nobody gets along anymore.
No, of course
Like
not.
you have to be in the same tribe, the
Yeah,
same
and
cult.
it is just what you said. Tribe. It's tribal,
It's a
right?
cult.
Like that's it's we're getting to these roots of when we were killing each other for the tribal differences and all that
I wonder
shit.
if us moving just fucked up my shots. You keep talking. I'm gonna check.
Oh fuck! I was trying to move to face you a little bit better. My bad. Good deal. I'm gonna. I want to grab my dog so bad, but I'm gonna let her sleep 'cause she's so fucking cute over there. But soon I'm gonna show you guys Ripple. She's like the little dog that's a year and almost a year and a half, and she's taught me how to love so much. She's like my
Such a cool ass dog.
yeah. She's my bestie, man. She's like my side. She's just my shadow. Sometimes I'm running with her and I kick her in the jaw accidentally because she's so close to me.
Yo, to get a dog like a rescue dog, right? She was a rescue.
No,
No, you got her as
no.
a pup. That's
Yeah,
right.
totally.
My
And
bad,
I
my
was looking
bad.
for I was looking for rescues, man, because during COVID you just couldn't find a dog.
Yeah, my parents literally drove to North Carolina to get the puppy they got
No shit.
because they just didn't trust the scams around here. Like
Yeah, no
there were
kidding.
so many people that are like, yeah, put $2,000 down and you'll get a puppy
I was hearing that
anywhere from
l-
6 months to 2 years.
left and right, bro. So check this out.
2 years.
Check this shit out, man. This is wild. So my wife, who was never a dog person, goes like, "We should get a dog." I'm like, "Yeah, I haven't had a dog in 20 years. Fuck yeah, we should get a dog." And then she's like, "We should get a border collie." I'm like, "Are you fucking shitting me?" I'm like, you know, but she was always resistant before, like, "Oh, dogs, pain in the ass, whatever."
Mhm.
like understandable, but
They are as a puppy. but
they
you
are.
love
Oh
'em.
yeah, of course. And she was never really around dogs like I was, so whatever. Fair enough. But she agreed to get this dog and this particular breed. But you know, this breed isn't for everybody, but it certainly is for me with my athleticism and my ability to keep her so content with all the exercise she gets. That
If you could see her now, she is passed the
she's
fuck out on the couch.
sleeping hardcore right now. I don't. That's why I wanted to grab her, but I don't want to ruin the shot or ruin her sleep
Yeah,
right now.
no, we'll grab her and put her on at the end of the podcast.
We'll get some good footage. Maybe we'll go outside and do some drone footage or some fun
There-
shit.
there
we'll
you go.
We'll do a tattoo on you, I hope, today.
Yeah, we're definitely doing the tattoo. I don't know about the stuff after 'cause I got some errands to run, as
Cool.
you were well aware of.
Yeah, fair enough.
Now you're aware of.
Fair enough. Maybe you'll stop at my house on your way out.
Dude, I would love to like chill tomorrow.
All right.
You know, like not be doing anything official. We're not
I don't.
just
I have a couple business things to do tomorrow, but other than that, I'm around.
yeah, yeah.
I'm super flexible these days. I'm not really working.
I'd try your bike,
Yeah,
your
I
bikes.
want you to try. I got these cool electric mountain bikes.
Yeah, and that'll be on his channel. And I'm a fat fuck, and I haven't worked out in years and years. And then I got sick, and I sat for a year and a half. So if I can get on these bikes and do something, that says anybody at home, no matter what your weight or your skill level is, could do it. Because I'm retraining these muscles.
No doubt, man. For sure. Well said. But yeah, the bikes, all that shit's so fun. I'm really into overlanding as well, and my Tacoma. I have a 2012 Tacoma. I've been working really hard to trick out over the winter, and I got a lot of cool shit going on that. And then
So yeah, you got cool shit going on with the tattoo studio. What kind of trips are you planning to do when you go with? You were telling me a bunch of people. And
right, I got a few
this and
friends that
that.
go on board. So today I bought a second Tacoma. I bought a 2019 that I plan to put a couple really nice rooftop tents on. I'm going to do a Sky Camp 2.0 on my 2012, and I'm going to put the
Jamie, put that up next to him.
I'm going to put the Falcon XL roof nest on the new rig.
Yep. Young Jamie's got that picture right here.
And
Keep
Yeah.
going, keep going.
And
I'm
I
just
got-
telling young Jamie some instructions.
I got all the dopest shit going on these two trucks, and I
Mm.
want to bring a couple friends and my dog and my daughters and bring these electric bikes and some one-wheelers and stuff like that. And then I plan to go to maybe Maine first. I don't know where. I'm definitely going to Colorado to see Paul.
That
And
shit sounds so dope.
I want to go down also. My folks live in North Carolina, so maybe I'll scoot down there after and run around in those Smokies or something 'cause it's so beautiful down there as well. And see my parents, and then shoot back up to Vermont. That's kind of my first trip, maybe like this.
If I'm gonna go anywhere with you, I want to go to Colorado
All right, dude. Well,
because that's the place.
let's just go out and back. I mean, it's only
I'm gonna fly.
okay. You don't want to be in the badass rigs? That's cool.
No, I'm gonna fly.
Cool. I'll meet you out there.
Yeah, we'll meet out there,
Fuck yeah.
and then you can get me to do all that shit.
Well, when I meet you out there, then I pick you up, and then we roll around Vail and hang out with my buddy
Yeah.
Paul, and we'll see all his operation and all that shit 'cause he's got the dopest shit ever going, and he was
Nice. I won't wear deodorant. We'll fucking become one with nature.
all day, dude. Yeah, that'll be so fun.
I foresee you like climbing mountains and like going to the top and seeing some guru up there that you get all this extra knowledge from, and then
Huh.
you come back and you just look at us all like we're pieces of shit.
Couldn't be more opposite, my friend.
Yeah. Okay.
It's funny that perception, and to look at me right now. And
Maybe
like,
not thinking everybody else is a piece of shit, but
I would
meeting that guru.
Yeah, I got the guru in my mind. I feel like all the time, but it's funny that the perception like of people see me where I'm at right now. But had you known me 6 years ago, actually 6 years ago on July 10th is when I quit drinking. I didn't quit. I just stopped, and I haven't had one since. But I was like over 240 pounds maybe. I was really depressed, and I was just so over drinking. I was like, I had my fucking fill. I'm just done, and I stopped on that day. And as synchronicity would have it, that's my half birthday too. I didn't even know or try, but there's a lot of that kind of shit that happens in my life with numbers and numerology and
Half birthday.
my birthday, right? Like my birthday's January 11th, so like
Yeah.
so the crazy thing, my daughter Ren was born 1 week early on 6/27/10, so that her birthday's Sunday, and she was born at 6:27 p.m. and that was a week early. That shit's crazy. 627. I got a lot of that.
Mine's next month on the 23rd.
Do you see numbers though?
First
a lot?
day of Leo. No, not really.
I do. I see 555 all the time. I see that shit like I see that sometimes twice. I'll see it like 555 in the morning, then 555 at night. I don't know what the fuck fives are in my life. Everybody's like lucky number 7. I'm like, I see fives.
I see a lot of 28 and 14.
I got you.
13.89, and I'm
3.5.
like, oh, I gotta grab such a little piece.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I don't really. I honestly don't even know telephone numbers. I realized that when I went back into the hospital, when I went into anaphylactic shock, and I didn't have my cell phone. Right, I literally was in my boxers when I got carted out. So when I woke up, I was just in a hospital room, and I was like, oh fuck, I have the smoking people because I was quitting smoking cigarettes at the time.
Yep.
And the 802 quits. If you ever want to quit smoking cigarettes, they send you so much money in product. It's not even funny. You just have to answer their phone call once a week.
Josh Jones.
And it happened to be the next day that I needed to call. So they were gonna call me. Didn't have my cell phone, and I needed to call or have my cell phone. Period. And I didn't know any phone numbers. I called my parents' house. Nobody picked up. I called my grandmother, who was the only other person I knew, and she went down and told them, like, no, I don't know any numbers. It's crazy. How many phone numbers do you have memorized? I mean, you're from the older generation, a little bit older than me.
687-0575 was my phone number growing up. 415.
If it's still an active phone number,
Oh,
I don't know how many
shit.
people are going to be calling your
Don't
parents.
star 69. That shit was in Concord. My parents live in fucking North Carolina right now, and who the fuck has a rotary phone anymore, dude? I'm 50. I think we had to call like the.
I bet I could find
we
one
had to.
in my mom's
They
house.
plug the things in at the fucking. The ladies are like, "Hello, you're calling me." I don't know that kind of.
Last year, they just got rid of a record 8-track combo that's been in the basement for years.
What basement?
My basement.
Yeah. Jesus. 8-track.
8-track and record player combo.
I haven't seen that. I have never seen that.
That's crazy.
Damn.
That's like Betamax. Do you remember that shit?
Of course.
You know, you had to go. You go.
Imagine if Beta won out over VHS, though. They could have.
Yeah. I don't know what the fuck difference would have been. Nothing really.
Yeah, right.
We still would have rolled on to DVDs.
It all sucked. But
Yeah.
it was brilliant at the time. But now you look back at it, it's like, it sucked getting those big machines, and you just couldn't,
You know what's brilliant?
be
at
kind,
this time
rewind.
is that if you wanna, if say you're old and you're stupid and you don't know about streaming services, this guy, you end up rebuying all the CDs that you had as a kid. I used to have big books, catalog of CDs, just like you probably had of records or tapes or whatever was big when you were
Cassettes.
younger. Yeah, cassettes. So, like, I was like, shit, I'm just going to rebuy everything. And then that added up to thousands and thousands of dollars. Hey, because you can't rip something and give it to your friends like you used to be able to. You can't
Yeah.
copy the CD. You can't go tape for tape. You can't do any of that shit. You just buy it straight up. They've finally found a way, unless you pay for a monthly subscription that will be taken out of your credit card monthly. Rates due to apply, may to increase, like all that bullshit.
Sure.
That I don't want to sign up for shit like that, so I end up being stupid and just buying music. I've spent like $3,500 on iTunes. Since I got sick. I spent like $2,000 in the hospital just fucking buy. I'm so bored.
Yeah. Damn, dude.
So let's get back to you. Sorry, I started talking.
No,
going off on a
that's
tangent.
badass though, because music's like,
It's good for your soul, man.
For
It
sure.
really,
And that's
for me, it is.
you're talking about a couple $1,000. Like, what the fuck's that? If you,
Nothing.
you find,
Supporting good artists
of
that
course,
I
and
enjoy.
if you find enjoyment out of it, man, and like I believe in art wholeheartedly, and I believe like whatever that price is the price it should be. Like
I
man,
believe that the normal Joe doesn't think that art's worth anything.
Well, good art ain't cheap. Cheap art ain't good.
Well, exactly. That's what I'm saying. That like, if you really have love for like tattoos and art, you understand how much it's worth and how much their time's worth, and you're getting a piece of them put into you.
Tattooing for sure, because it's on your skin. It's forever. And that's the
Forever.
one thing that like can't be stolen, lost, or any of that. So
Right. But it
but
can be covered up
it can't be.
greatly by good artists.
Yeah.
This guy.
But I was just thinking of my friend Sarah at Stash and Sew downstairs, because her husband Kurt B is like one of the most renowned glass blowers apparently around or something. But he demands such a high price for these glass pieces that he makes, and you could look at it and be like, oh, it's just a little piece of glass and all that, right? And why is that thing $8,000 or $5,000, whatever the price they set,
Dude, the
It's
glass.
because it's fucking worth it, and because of those skilled hands, hands
all
that are
made in
skilled.
America. fucking
Right,
Everything.
it's real shit. So like whatever it's worth, man. That's all.
I have some friends that are really big into the glass game, not blowing it, but buying it.
Of
Like,
course,
these
collectors. That's
these
what I'm
guys
talking
are
about.
collecting fucking $10,000 bongs.
Yep.
And
All day.
$8,000 hand dry pieces.
But you know what, dude?
But they're fucking rad. You
right.
look at them, the
Because
craftsmanship.
people buy a fucking Kia for that much, like a vehicle that's gonna be, you could crash that thing and it's
Are you making fun of my car, bro?
you got a Kia?
Yeah, fuck you.
I thought that thing was like a fucking night. I don't know what they.
It's a brand new model this year.
That thing's dope.
It's
No
a
offense against Kias.
2021 Kia
But how much?
K5.
How much are Kias? They're about as much as a bong.
Yo,
Like
that thing downstairs was. I spent a lot of money on it. It's 33.
that one looks way better. But I'm saying you can
You
get.
get in it, it looks like a luxury car.
How much can? What's the cheapest Kia?
Oh, fuck it, cheap. Dirt.
20.
I don't know, probably.
Right. So
I'm just saying that when we were young, when I was younger, like 20 years ago, 25 years ago, 30 years ago, Kias were garbage. You
right.
wouldn't want to get caught dead. So I understand the stigma, and
I'm
I
not.
had that as well.
I didn't even mean.
Till
I didn't
drove
even
it.
mean
You
to
didn't
like.
even know.
I didn't even mean to say it as a stigma. I meant to say it like legit. Like, okay, so $20,000, $10,000. I'm saying like that bong is the same price as a $20,000 Kia, right? But the Kia is something you can crash. It could be fucking whatever, and you could break the bong just the same. But
But you'll
like,
never get another one of those bongs.
No,
and
fuck
you can
no.
buy that same Kia.
that Kia is like $1 million made of
I
that
got
fucking
you, I
thing. So
got
the
you.
Kia.
I thought you were knocking my car, motherfucker. I had to stand up from my
I
car.
didn't
you
even know what your
I
fucking
mean?
car was. I thought your car was like
white
was some
and tinted in it.
street racer shit. I don't know that kind of stuff because I got this clunky ass 4-wheel drive, man. I don't know about those.
Clunky ass. He's like, both of his cars look brand new, rolled off the lot.
I don't have. I don't know about those fancy little zips
Zips.
since I was a youth.
I gotta go to a special gas station
I
and
used
get
to.
that rice that goes right in it. I don't even think they're right.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
Rice is good fuel though,
Yeah, it'd be a lot cheaper.
no doubt. Renewable energy.
These gas prices, like I get why the gas prices are going up, and I'm good with it.
I wish you would burn rice.
But
That'd be dope. Burning rice. That'd be
rice
dope.
burners.
Yeah, that term is a little derogatory, right? But
Yeah,
if you
yeah,
think
it
about it,
is.
how cool would it be if we could burn rice for fuel?
That'd be great.
So maybe it's not very derogatory after
What
all.
if you could just like open your gas tank and fill it up with oxygen in it,
Wouldn't that be fucking?
and then you just open it for 10 seconds?
What
and
if
put
there was
the
an
cap back on?
inflatable like?
Women?
I was thinking cars, but maybe it's interchangeable, one and the same. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I could use one of those. It's been a very long time for me.
yeah. People like me need I want to be single for the rest of my life,
Amen.
and I would be totally fine with just a good friend that came over whenever either of us were feeling. But we didn't have a relationship. It was just a sex.
Isn't that a beautiful thing?
That's what I want.
What do they
Which
call
ends up being like, hopefully the robots will catch up good enough so I can have that.
You call it an F buddy?
Yeah, a fuck buddy. Yeah,
Yeah.
you don't have to be. If you want to edit yourself, you surely can. But I
Oh.
say everything. Fuck, cunt,
Because
bitch.
you and I, motherfucker, are transparent like motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't give a fuck.
Like Keith and I were talking about this shit. Like I was telling my daughters recently, they've been fibbing to me a lot lately, you know. And I'm like, fuck, man, how do I get them to tell the truth? How do I get them like pounding my head, like trying all these different techniques, like guilt and like fucking, all right, what am I gonna do? Like, and then I realized I found the perfect opportunity because I recently quit marijuana after like 30 years, and I said, hey guys, you've seen Daddy run 100 miles 2 times. You see me run 50 miles. You see me do all these races, Boston Marathon, all the shit you've seen me do over the past 6 years. But how? Here, see how I breathe right now? It's 'cause I don't smoke weed, but I wish I could. I just have to do edibles or something. But anyways, so I told my daughters, you've seen me do all these things, and how does that make you feel when you hear Daddy's smoker's cough? And they go, that's pretty yucky. I go, yeah. And then I said, you guys are the best liars. I know you're liars because I'm like a liar, right? And like my dad was a liar, and his dad was a liar. We just come from that this-
Family
this
of
culture,
liars,
right? It's
yeah.
almost like the same thing as alcohol, right? It's just
Yeah.
ingrained in us. But then I said to them, and I'm only saying that because it takes one to know one. You know what I mean? Like, that's me.
For sure.
That's you. That's everybody. But you and I made that same choice to stop right then and there. And I told my daughters that. I said, so let's just stop with the bullshit and transparency, and let's be honest from here on out. How does that sound? And they fucking got it. Like, they got it right then and there. And they're almost 11 and 8. So that's fucking power.
And
And it took me 50 years to fucking stop lying. So
it took
there you go.
me like 32, 31.
Yep.
I just once I lied
Never
so much.
too old to stop
Yeah, there you
motherfucking
go.
lying, bitches.
I lied so much throughout living the double life that I lived, starting in high school, right up through.
Trying to gain like friends
Relationships
and
and
stuff and
stuff.
relationships, gathering that shit. Like,
Dude, I ended up living like 3 different lives. I'm living the life at home with my parents. I'm living my life with my girlfriend on the weekends 'cause she doesn't know that I'm doing a bunch of blow. And then I'm living my life during the week, 5 days a week that I go to work. And then once I get out of work, I go straight over to my buddy's house, and we split an 8-ball of cocaine, and I go home exactly at 11:01 to make it home for 11:30 because that's when I had to be home, curfew. To then I would eat like 20 Tylenol PMs, drink a whole bottle of NyQuil to force myself to go to sleep. And then I wake up and I do it all over again. And I did that for 3 years until I was caught by her,
By your girlfriend.
red-handed that you are doing cocaine. I was like, oh, no, 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 definitely not. Like what guys would normally do. That they'd just be like, oh, no, deny, deny, deny. And then she's like, dude, this is like one of my best friends, and she was doing it with you, Keith. Like, I know 100%. And then I was like, well, yeah, I do cocaine. I do a fuckload of cocaine on the week. And then I come see you, and she's like, oh, well, I want to kind of, I think that we could still work things out. You can do what you do, and we hang out on the weekends. And I was like, no, like, you don't understand. Like, I'm going down this road of doing cocaine with my friends, and I don't want to stop now. And you're better than this. Like, you deserve somebody, because she's a good girl, You deserve somebody at that time that was not going down the road. So I had to prove it to her because she wasn't willing to say no. I was like, all right, come to my house this coming weekend or whatever. I'll have all my buddies over. We'll play pool, and you can hang out and drink, And then we were doing cocaine lines like this because it was bunk cocaine, like it was barely cocaine in it. And then, so what she sees is me and like 2 or 3 other guys railing lines like this big when she's probably only seen cocaine in a movie. And, they're hitting, like, lines like tiny,
You're like,
tiny.
no, it's all fucking...
You're like, this kid has a problem. Look how big. Look how much cocaine he needs to snort.
Wow, dude. Yeah,
And she lasted maybe 30 minutes before she left, and then that was the final breakup between her and I. So, like,
man, she's a trooper for lasting that long, man.
yeah, I know. And I was a dick back then to really drive the point home by fucking doing a shit ton of blow in front of her. How much of a dick are you?
Yeah.
But it was able to put her in the mindset that, okay, this is done with Keith because he's fucking crazy right now, and start over, and regain whatever she needed to regain before she put herself back out there. And I think I was a good person to let her go when I did, because I also could have said yeah and then just did it behind her back, so it was out of sight, out of mind, and then we probably would have lasted another year, or who knows. But back on track of. Basically, when I got sober, I decided that I was not going to lie. I'm going to be, like, too honest. So stuff that you probably didn't want to know, if I'm telling a story, I'm not going to leave those details out anymore. You're going to hear it, and it is what it is, and I am who I am, and you can like me if you like me, and if you don't like me, that's fine, too. We don't have to, But all I've had is positive feedback from being honest, that's for sure. You never get positive feedback from being dishonest.
Being a liar, right? But the crazy thing about being a liar, too, is that it's so hard to keep up with the lies, right? Like, how do you remember who you told the thing to, and then your mom or your girlfriend or your fucking boyfriend, whatever, it's just...
It's a hard balancing act. It's fucking difficult, stressful.
Where if you're just transparent, you have nothing to worry about because every word, everything, right? Your life... That's why I tremendously feel like, in the weirdest of ways with all the turmoil that you know about my life right now, is that I get just happier by the moment. And that's no joke, and that seems fucking weird, right? Because some folks know that I'm going through some crazy shit, but that's real, because...
we all go through crazy shit.
We all do, man.
It's how you come out on the other end
that's
of it,
life.
and who stuck with you
Life
through
ebbs
it.
and flows, you know? Friends and relationships happen like that, and there's no harm, no foul to that either. That's just life shit, man. That's like, this is we're all just human beings.
Just happy you called me, man.
Well, I called you
cool.
because and you were so responsive because you picked up, like, I call people, nobody fucking answers their phone anymore, right? They're all freaked out by answering the phone because everybody wants a text, but I'm like, text is lost, texting is important. I do it all the time, but I'm just saying, like, I needed to talk to my boy tonight, and I didn't need just a text. I wanted to hear his voice.
Yeah.
And
texting has its place, but calls have a really big place.
I think that was about 1 or 2 o'clock, and now it's about 5:51, and here we are doing this shit because that was like, neither of us thought about planning. Like waking up this morning, that was the furthest thing from my mind that this was going to happen today.
Me too. We talked about the 28th.
Doing it another time. Right?
I had it booked on Monday the 28th.
I couldn't even remember. I thought you were like last Monday. I didn't even remember.
No. I had you booked, motherfucker, for this coming Monday.
I was lying when I said I was going to do it. I can't believe you booked me.
I booked you.
Yeah.
I try to keep a schedule now. trying to take this podcasting thing as serious as I
You're
can.
no joke, dude. I thought you were like fucking good. I thought you were like a bullshitter with the podcast. I mean, I know you're like so honest, but I just didn't know you had all this shit going.
I didn't have this shit at that time. I had the other dudes that we did once, and then I realized it was garbage.
Yeah, I was like, that setup seems a little like fucking.
Dude, it was ghetto. Ghetto as fuck.
Yeah.
I love Bob. Shout out to Bandana Bob. He will be doing my podcast here and there.
Bob.
But I will say that Bob needs to invest a little bit more money into
Bob,
his
just
setup.
step your game up, brother.
He needs one of these mics, and he already knows it. One Shure mic.
And they're probably not that expensive.
I mean, just depends on
Relatively.
$250 is not that bad to get your sound quality up to par.
That's nothing.
But when you have to buy it all at once, that I'm buying 2 of these, and
it's the same shit I'm doing right now,
It's
buying all the
investment.
drones and all the shit. It's like,
Yeah.
fuck, man. It gets all of a sudden my bill at Best Buy. I got a new laptop. I got a couple drones, like fucking $5,000. But thank God for that little blue credit card. Best
See,
Buy.
I won't
12
do
months free. 12 months free.
I won't do that shit.
Yeah.
I pay all my shit. Oh, it was on a credit card, but it'll all be paid off. at the end of the month.
I do the same thing too.
But I
because
don't have enough. I didn't buy the Apple probably like you did. I bought the fucking 700 Lenovo computer.
It's all legit, dude. And the only reason I'm spending money on this stuff right now is because I'm gonna go on a fucking, a little wanderlust, and I'm gonna do some. I've never done YouTube, but I plan to do a huge YouTube channel, and I'm gonna really like hit the road with my overland vehicles, and I'm going to promote that because I'm way into that. And then I'm just going to go, man, wherever we go, and I'm going to bring my electric bikes. I got some killer electric mountain bikes by Santa Cruz, is the dopest one, that purple one. And then 2 Konas. Those are really dope.
I saw some of your bikes, the 2 that you had downstairs.
I'm going to get the...
one was a Santa Cruz, and the other one was a Kona.
And I got 2 one-wheelers coming and all that shit. So when I go out and I'm creating this content with the drones and my friends and wherever we're at, Colorado, and smoking weed or rolling or doing BJJ or any of that stuff is climbing mountains. I just want to feature all that stuff under one umbrella, right? And tattooing and art and all getting tattooed by.
I think I can get you set up so you can put your videos up on YouTube really easily.
Yeah, I'm sure you could.
Yeah.
We'll do it. We already have content.
Fuck yeah.
We have a ton of content. I've been already creating this shit just with my phone before I've even used the gimbal.
As long as you have all those videos saved, absolutely.
I just don't know how to edit and put them together so brilliantly yet, but that's what
I don't know how to edit either.
Yeah, but that's cool. That's easy enough. I mean, with all this shit now, it's just so seamless. Like the technology just gets crazier. Like all of a sudden, I'm like, oh, what am I? I didn't even know what I was spending on a fucking drone. I picked a drone. I picked the gimbal. That's how I shop. I throw everything just quickly.
Okay, that's how I do it on Amazon.
Yeah, and then I'll if I don't want it later, I'll fucking return it or whatever. But
for a while, I wouldn't even return it because I didn't want to deal with this shit. I just kept it.
I'm the same, bro.
I kept like a $250 pair of sunglasses. Oakleys.
Like, I don't need this shit, but I don't want to.
It didn't fit me right. I was remembering my face back when I was in high school, not my fat fucking face now. I put them on, and I was like, holy shit, they look like kids' sunglasses.
You and I are the same like that, my man. Excuse my yawning.
So yeah, man. If you want to get going on tattooing, I'm ready.
We'll do that. I was just
gonna
say,
keep going either way.
Yeah, I'm
I didn't know if you were.
I'm ready to do. I'm ready to have a little cup of coffee and then do that tattoo. But I just wanted to say, so when I'm spending this money, and I don't even know what it costs, I'm like, fuck! I spent $1,000. I got a drone, and I got a handheld. Like I don't even know. It's DJI, something like that. This company is really dope. But I got some new equipment, and it is not that much. Even this stuff right here, $250, not that much. Imagine, not too long ago, this would be like $1,000.
Oh, absolutely.
So it's all relative, right? Or your $250 pair of sunglasses, I get the same shit, So I don't, or that glass pipe or any of it. It's all relative. These fucking $3,000 phone, $1,000, whatever the fucking thing costs.
Whatever price they come up with.
Whatever. Money is only what we assign it to, right? It's just a piece of paper you can wipe your fucking ass on, and I don't know. It's just human beings saying this thing's valuable, this thing's not.
Yeah.
It's green. One thing's green. The green pieces of paper are filthy. They're fucking filled with germs and disgusting. But a nice clean white sheet of paper, plenty of coke. You can get high as fuck. You can get salmonella. You can get COVID.
Dollar bills.
Whatever the fuck you want. But that's just it's just human beings assigning this piece of paper to say that this has value.
This dollar bill gave me Hep C. I can look at it.
Hey,
I'm just fucking around.
Let's cut this and go do that tattoo.
All right, brother.
All right, let's do it.
Let's get with it.
Later.
We're gonna play a little outro music. Fuck out of here. Once again, I want to thank Corey Barrett from Good Ink Tattooing.
Keith from fucking
Colchester, Vermont.
The
DJ Bergeron from the Lowered Morals podcast. Yeah, motherfucker, that's who he was trying to thank.
That's what I was about to say.
All right, we out.